Ozempic is all the rage right now, where people are either accusing someone of taking it or completely bashing it as if it's an abomination. By the end of this video, you'll get a whole new perspective. So stay tuned and subscribe to the channel. We've all heard the saying, don't give a man a fish, teach him how to fish. Because giving a fish will only fill his stomach for a short while, but teaching him the skill of catching a fish will permanently solve the problem. But what if this person genuinely needed that first fish in order to even begin learning the art of catching a fish? This isn't about fish. In today's time, 1 in every 8 person is suffering from obesity. But मैंने suffering क्यों बोला? Because from what we have understood so far, we gain weight because we eat more food. And why do we eat more food? Because we lack willpower or have poor dietary habits or lack self-control or are just straight up lazy, right? See, while those things may have a place in the puzzle, it's not just about those things. Obesity is a complex condition जो बहुत सारे factors की वजह से होती है, including environmental, psychological, social, cultural, genetic factors and whatnot. In fact, trying to understand a simple question such as why do we feel hungry is a complex topic which is still being studied. आपकी body satiety and hunger hormones को release करती है, जैसे leptin and ghrelin. Now, if your body has become desensitized or resistant to the satiety hormone, then despite having a good meal, you might still feel hungry because of this issue with the signaling mechanism. Also, just look around you. We as a society have massively incentivized eating junk and ultra-processed foods. Notice how many bakeries and restaurants keep opening up every single day. You open social media and there's some random food blogger stuffing his face with random nonsense. And above all this, we have way too much easier of an access to ultra-processed food items through Blinkit, Zomato, Swiggy and whatnot, which has affected the way we perceive hyper-palatable food items. See, there are some people who stick to nutrition and workout plans but still find it difficult to lose weight. What if this person has a long-term injury, making his workouts more challenging? Could be genetic factors such as being a hyperabsorber of cholesterol or plethora of other reasons which make his weight loss journey more challenging. Could be a childhood trauma which this person has been unable to deal with and hence relies on food. देखो, मैं यहाँ कोई excuse नहीं दे रहा as to why people gain weight. And as someone who's been able to transform himself and maintain sufficient levels of leanness with hard work and willpower, I honestly don't even have a strong reason to make a solid case for weight loss drugs. लेकिन एक simplistic approach लेना that people suffering from obesity are simply lazy or lack willpower is not the best way to deal with it. And as a health and fitness coach who has worked with a bunch of people who are overweight, I can tell you this with a lot of certainty. We also know that obesity is correlated with a bunch of metabolic conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, cardiac issues and so on, which are life-threatening. In such a case, it's all about weighing the pros of losing that weight and improving your quality of life versus the small negative effects of using medical intervention. And this is where Ozempic and other similar drugs come into the picture. ज़्यादा साइंस का ज्ञान नहीं दूंगा, but here's a brief explanation. Ozempic comes under the category of drugs called as GLP-1 receptor agonists. Mounjaro, which was recently introduced in India, is also part of the same set of drugs. But ये करते क्या हैं exactly? GLP-1 एक हार्मोन है जो आपकी small intestine naturally secrete करती है in response to eating food. And ये GLP-1 hormone कुछ particular signal send करता है related to the following things. First, it sends a signal to your brain that now you're feeling full. Second, वो आपकी बॉडी में इंसुलिन के सिक्रीशन को प्रमोट करता है जो ब्लड शुगर लेवल्स को मैनेज करने में मदद करता है. एंड लास्टली, इट डिलेज द टाइम फॉर गैस्ट्रिक एम्प्टीइंग व्हिच मेक्स यू फील फुल फॉर लॉन्गर. इसी GLP-1 हार्मोन को Ozempic जैसे ड्रग्स बॉडी में जाके मिमिक करते हैं टू गिव यू दोस बेनिफिट्स सो दैट यू फील फुल एंड सेटिएटेड फॉर लॉन्गर एंड आपकी ब्लड शुगर लेवल्स भी प्रॉपर्ली मैनेज हो पाएं. And that's how these drugs help you in managing diabetes and weight loss because they help you feel full for longer, which means आप कम खाना खाओगे and will also have less cravings. But अगर आप सोच रहे हो कि इसको कभी भी over the counter ले सकते हो without any negative consequences for your short-lived beach or wedding transformations, you are highly mistaken. Let me be very clear. This is specifically meant for people with uncontrolled diabetes or obesity who are taking this drug under the guidance of a doctor. Not surprising, but इसके भी कुछ side effects होते हैं and depending on what other symptoms and medical conditions you have, the doctor is likely to give you more medicines to manage those as well. Side effects like headache, nausea, bloating, diarrhea, etc. are common but less severe ones. This is also a pricey affair. Even though the prices are lesser than in the West, it will still cost you a good 15 to 20,000 per month just for the medicine alone, जिसके अलावा भी आपके और cost होंगे including doctor's fee and other medicines. People who will take this for short-term weight loss without any lifestyle changes might also experience loss in strength and muscle mass, which is just not desirable. And simply एक short-term result के लिए, you are skewing your perception about weight loss, health, longevity and whatnot, which is just not worth it. See, I don't think most people who are overweight and have struggled with weight loss their whole lives would want to stay that way. I also don't think people who are suffering from this issue would want to abuse the drug to eat whatever they want. I'm also quite certain that if they had the right exposure and guidance from the start, many of these issues could have been avoided from the get-go. For example, if your parents were never around to prepare nutritious meals for you as a kid, or if they would reward you with ultra-processed foods every day, you are going to develop a skewed perception about food and health compared to someone who has grown in an overall health-focused household. But now at this stage of adulthood, of having already suffered the consequences of obesity, the first and foremost step will always be to start bringing some positive lifestyle changes with the right guidance and then look into the introduction of drugs like Ozempic basis medical advice. And अगर आप Ozempic ले भी लेते हो, you cannot possibly rely on them throughout your lives. Papers clearly show that combining these drugs with a good nutrition and exercise protocol is what will bring long-lasting changes. Ozempic सिर्फ आपके weight loss पे काम करता है, but it will not make you stronger by any means. जब हम हेल्थ की बात करते हैं, we also need to work on stronger muscles, joints and bones. And ये सारे adaptations आपको सिर्फ exercise and resistance training में engage करने के बाद ही मिलते हैं. Also, we wish to become more mentally resilient when dealing with all such issues and other stresses in our life. And ये सब आपको सिर्फ एक medication से नहीं मिलने वाला. If you wish to learn more about topics like longevity and health, I have linked an important video in the description which you can check out after this video. इसलिए the requirement of competent fitness coaches and educators like myself becomes all the more important to ensure you're walking on the right path when dealing with such drugs and situations to bring long-lasting changes. Here's probably the last and most important thing I'll say. People who are losing weight and improving their lives with the help of these drugs are not any inferior to those who have done it without the use of these drugs. यहाँ superior inferior weight loss का कोई सवाल नहीं है because every person coming out of obesity and metabolic conditions is improving their overall well-being and long-term habits. Every person has a different situation and it is for your medical caretaker to advise whether you even need these drugs or not. Some people need that initial nudge or that first fish to start bringing bigger and more prominent changes in their lives, and some do not. Our aim should always be to start improving ourselves without the need of these drugs. However, if the need so arises, there is absolutely no issue in taking them with sufficient medical guidance and lifestyle changes. If you're looking for sustainable ways to lose weight and improve your overall lifestyle, fill my coaching form given in the description and I will reach out to you soon.